Good morning, everyone.
Morning, Radth.
Yes, I'm a bit slower getting up here today. I've got a ruptured tendon in my foot, so I can't remain standing for long. Today is the final day of Naidoc week, which started on the 2nd of July and continued to today. It's a time to celebrate the culture, achievements of Australia's First Peoples, the Aborigines and Torres Strait Islanders. And each year a different theme is chosen. This year the theme is for our elders, honouring those leaders who have maintained and passed on knowledge, wisdom and culture of their people. And so I especially acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which the sanctuary stands, the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation, their elders, past, present and to come. And today I will especially be looking at some of the achievements of past leaders and researching this, I found some surprises. But it is that the daily work talked about the buried treasure, and in our own backyards there is a buried treasure, the treasure of wisdom buried along with the culture of the first people to live in the land we're occupying. And one of the religions, treasures that we have discovered and that we all know about, but we maybe don't know the origins, is the state's religion of football. Although some question the truth of this, the AFL has recognised a link between Australian rules football and a game played by the original inhabitants of this place. Possum fur was made into a length of yarn, then rolled into a ball and used in a Koori game called Man Puruk. But who were these first Australians, first Victorians? Before the arrival of the colonists, the population of Victoria is estimated to have been about 60,000. By 1850, the Koori population had been reduced to about 3,000. The area in and around Melbourne was occupied by the Kulin Nation. Down to Melbourne. Our sanctuary is in the city of Whitehorse, a part of the land that the first people called Naminaran. The people living here were the Wurundjeri group, and that's the area that's white in the map on the screen, which was the Wurundjeri group was one of 5 groups forming the Woiwurrung clan. Spiritual beliefs were deep and powerful, and Kooris believed they were an integral part of the land and the natural environment. And the creator of the universe was Bunjil, who took the shape of a wedge-tailed eagle. Everything the Kooris did on the land, be it hunting, gathering, land management, ceremony, whatever, was an expression of their spiritual life. And then, in 1835, came the ships of the Ngamajet, the spirit people, the white people. In June 1835, John Batman, acting without any authority from Sydney or London, drew up a fraudulent contract which saw huge tracts of land around Port Phillip pass into his hands in exchange for blankets, mirrors, axes, etc., to be distributed to the blackfellows annually. Neither Billabillery, the Mulgata, or headman of the Woiwurrung people, along with 8 other tribal chiefs, real meaning. None of them spoke English, and Batman had with him a translator who was from New South Wales and knew nothing of the Woiwurrung language. So total misunderstanding. They did not realise the fact that the white chief they dealt with was acting for himself and his friends out of greed for land to exploit. It was not long before the people of the Kulin Nation began to suffer. Around Melbourne, the natives were excluded from areas where whites built homes and established farms, and by the late 1830s, squatters had ranged far and wide. Before long, the settlers had taken possession of most of the habitable land in Victoria, displacing the Kulin as well as many other Koori nations and driving them to the edge of survival. From the 1840s, the Kulin sought new ways of ensuring their people's survival. To this end, Billabillery appealed to Assistant Protector for a grant of land, proposing that his people could make a place for themselves in the new colonial order by living sedentary lifestyles and farming the land. The government of the day did not grant this request. Although he died in 1846 without his dream coming to fruition, Billabillery's efforts planted a seed of collaboration which would later lead to the establishment of Corindale. Soon after arriving in Victoria in 1857, a Presbyterian lay preacher, John Green, began working among the Woiwurrung adults at Yearing Station, while his wife Mary established a school for their children. Together with Wonga, the new head man, or Mugaita, Green eventually obtained permission to establish a new reserve on the Yarra for the Woiwurrung peoples. In March 1863, a total of 40 men, women and children, the total population of the Woiwurrung at the time, cut down all the way down to 40. So a total of 40 men, women and children, including John and Mary Green, set up camp nearby in an area at the confluence of the Yarra River and the Corindale or Badger Creek. They named their campsite Corindale, which is the Woiwurrung name for the flowering Christmas bush native to the area. Before they could be sure that they would not be moved off the land again, John Green and the Kulin knew that official confirmation of the land's reservation needed to be published in the government gazette. So in June 1863, after a delegation led by Wonga, Barak and Green, the governor announced the establishment of Corindale as a Koori reserve. That reserve turned out to be very successful. They produced the best hops in the country, and a great deal of jealousy arose, and believe it or not, there were all sorts of rumours about how they were doing so well that they'd been secretly subsidised by the government and so on. Not unlike things we hear today. But it was the success of the Corindale that led to its demise, as local farmers were outdone by the Kooris. John Green was removed from his position at Corindale, and the Kulin people were forced to abandon their home. Barak retired from his role as chief and died a saddened man, but he left behind a series of paintings of Kulin life before the arrival of Mamajit, or white people, as he remembered it from his childhood. One of these we see here. What he left with all these paintings was a priceless treasure for future generations at a time when it appeared as though Koori people were being completely eliminated. It's now possible through those for the Wurundjeri people to gain something of their old lifestyle. But a new day dawns. voice of the Wurundjeri is being heard once more. The Yarra River Protection or Willipchin Burrung Ron Act of 2017 created a council to advise on the development and implementation of a plan to maintain the Yarra River. That council must include at least 2 members recommended by the Wurundjeri Woiwurrung Cultural Heritage Aboriginal Corporation. Mouthful that, but in other words, by the Wurundjeri people. The preamble to the Act is actually written in Woiwurrung language before its translation into English, the first for Victoria and I think Australia. Yes, the voice is heard and acknowledged here in Victoria and may always be so. The actions in the Yarra Strategic Plan work to bring the community vision to life and realise the aspirations of the Wurundjeri people. But what can we do as individuals to come to understand the First Peoples of this land? I've found in many different ways that knowing a few words of a language improves my understanding of the people who speak it. I've found this with my knowledge of Spanish, a few words here and there of German or Arabic, just give me that little bit of deeper insight into the people and their values, their ways of life. So, I'll leave you here with just a few words in Woiwurrung. Who knows when they might be useful. Naarm is the Wurundjeri name for Melbourne. Namanaran is the name for the Whitehorse area, which is where we are in the sanctuary now. Wominjeka means welcome. Yamajed is a white man or spirit people. Kulin is simply a human being. And Burrung is the Aboriginal name for the Yarra River. It's said that the name Yarra was given to the river when whites arrived and asked a young boy, what is this? And he basically said, Yarra, that's there. So, but the name is Burrung, and we've got that in Burrung in the city. So I'll leave you now with some music for contemplation, and then lead us all into a meditation. The music is Our Dreamland. It's composed by a Gamilaroi man, Ivan Sen, a very talented young man, a filmmaker, songwriter, artist, and composer. Second, I invite you to gently close your eyes and listen. 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 In the silence, listen. Listen to the deep water. Silence of the deep water. The deep, dark water. Silence. Listen. In the silence, listen to the quiet bubbling, the fresh spring